Tom Welling is preparing an animated Smallville continuation, and I can't wait to hear what Allison Mack has been up to. Oh, Lord. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and today's been a crazy news day. And I was going to do this story first, but the story I did before this took precedence. I can't even say that name because YouTube's already limited me. In fact, YouTube, please stop limiting me. Human reviewers, I'm not going to say anything against the terms of service. We're just talking about news stories and broad stories as is. So please be fair. In fact, let's see. Did they let me put ads? Always tell me, because sometimes my reporting doesn't get through to you because YouTube doesn't want it to. But this is a story I've been wanting to cover, but I wanted to wait until see how it all ended. Smallville star Allison Mack. This tweet sort of sums it up. My fellow true crime fans, Allison Mack will be sentenced today for basically co-running a cult, we're going to call it. Smallville fans, I'm so sorry. I'm sure this wasn't a reunion or reboot you were hoping for. Facts. Now, if you guys didn't see the NXIVM documentary on HBO, it is an eye-opening, crazy special. How do I say this without getting dinged? Basically, Allison Mack was co-leading this cult along with this individual named Keith Raniere, who had created this sort of class, if you will, and sort of helping motivate people, like into living their best life. And, you know, basically joining them as part of this community to exert themselves and their mental awareness to sort of push themselves to be better. And this was a sort of business opportunity workshops that were supposed to be bettering people's lives. But of course, there was some very shady happenings, as there usually is for some of these self-help groups and things. And it got so crazy as the show unveils sort of what's going on. It turns out that Keith Raniere was branding these women. It wasn't just branding, you know, like they do to cattle. And it wasn't just what they were branding was Keith's initials along with Allison's initials. It was a AM sort of thing that they designed together. And basically, the women of this group were told, you know, had to do things per Allison Mack, who sort of organized this as a subgroup of women who are, you know, empowering women. And, you know, if we can do this and you can not be afraid of doing this and you can do anything, was sort of the logic, where this guy Keith was literally tricking all these women who looked up to him and saw him as sort of a god, as like oh my God, you were this amazing person that's changed my life. Of course, he used it for nefarious purposes. He was found in Mexico, where they did arrest him. And you can see here this clip where they were tracking him down and found him in Mexico, where he got busted in 2018. And here's Allison Mack sort of running around, sort of knowing it was coming and whatnot, but sort of in denial. And anyway, she pled guilty in 2019 as he was sentenced to 120 years in prison. That's how bad this was, guys. Raniere was into 120 years in prison. She pled guilty to 2 counts: racketeering, conspiracy. There was a whole bunch of money laundering and stuff and racketeering. But they basically alleged that she was the PIMP ringleader for the NXIVM cult that garnered headlines around the world. She was facing 40 years behind bars, 20 for each count. So she had pled to the court to, get leniency. She was hoping she was going to get leniency from this. She was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean what I did. And I was roped up by this guy. And it was the biggest mistake of my life. I'd say so. Kind of crazy that she thought she was just going to get away with this. But there she was trying to put out this apology. I'm so sorry to all of those I brought into NXIVM. She brought a lot of people into NXIVM. She garnered their trust and then sort of legitimized it, tried to get people in. It was messed up what this woman did. I'm so sorry I ever exposed you to the nefarious and emotionally schemes of a twisted man. Guys, Google it yourself. I can't use some of the terms of what actually was going on in this thing, but it was bad. From the deepest part of my heart and soul, I am sorry. I'm sorry all these I brought in. I'm sorry I exposed you. She tried to do this like crazy, but victims weren't having it. She can blame Keith all she wants, but she was a monster cut from the same cloth. She is evil. is what the people who she brought in labeled her. So she was trying to get a more lenient sentence from the judge, saying that, look, we helped you get Keith, we admitted to things, we came forward by telling the truth and doing the right thing. She hoped they would be more lenient, and so it was she had a 40-year sentence potentially, but the reality was, under the guidelines of sentencing, it was really about between 14 and about 18 years is what she would have, the maximum of what she actually would have gotten. But her lawyers wanted no jail sentence. They wanted to have her just be reduced at home. And I made choices I will never forget. She pleaded, I'm so sorry. I'm filled with remorse and guilt. I bet you did terrible things. And look, this is a case of like, do I feel for her? I mean, I feel for anybody who does the wrong thing and realizes it finally. I do. I think it's everyone needs to learn, even the worst of us. Otherwise, what are we as a society if we can't help rehabilitate and educate? But what she did was horrific, and she deserves to pay the price, and she needs to serve some time. So today was the sentencing day, and now Allison Mack, she will be serving 3 years for her role as she slams Raniere. For being the person in charge of all, which let's be clear, he deserves his 120 years, absolutely. And Allison Mack helped to put him in for 120 years, so good on her. But she needs to take accountability as well, and she needs to go to jail. Now, is 3 years enough? That's going to be a debate for some. At least she's getting some jail time, and she didn't just get a complete slap on the wrist. Will she get out earlier for good behavior? Who knows how this always works? Is she a danger to others? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Raniere was clearly the leader of it all, and she was following suit. But that doesn't mean that she shouldn't pay for what she did. And the things she did, guys, was effed up. In fact, you can watch, what's his name, Rosenbaum from Smallville, who played Lex. He has a YouTube channel, and he's done a couple episodes that have done well for him where he talks about this, of sort of like, how could we have not seen this? And they remember her sort of trying to get them into the cult as well. And they sort of shrugged it off, like, whatever, yes, I'm not joining that weird thing. But when you watch the documentary about NXIVM, it's so crazy to see these really smart people who just wanted, reaffirmation from people, like, that they respect. They wanted positive reinforcement and, like, encouragement that they were doing the right thing and needed some guidance. They were lost, which I think we all are. So it's easy for these leaders, these Keith Ranieres of the world, who are really manipulative and crazy, to sort of see and exploit the things that certain people, that are lacking. Smart people that he created this whole business and this workshop and gave them roles in the company, and it became a business for them. Like they all thought they were part of this family, and so it just got weirder and weirder as it went. And then secret elements of the cult and the groups really is where things went out of line. But there were some amazing people who stood up, including Beru, she played Beru over on in the prequels. She's in Star Wars, from Star Wars. Her and her husband, who was doing a documentary for Keith, who they were sort of the first people to really get out and try to make a stink about this, and it was really hard for them to try and get attention. Nobody wanted to go up against it. So fascinating story. I do highly recommend you check out the NXIVM documentary on HBO. I think there's another one coming, or it's on Showtime, or there's another competing one. I didn't see that one yet, but I'm shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if we don't see more. I think even HBO is working on a follow-up now that they've been following through what happened with all the sentencing and stuff. So HBO Max has that if you want to learn more. If you're a Smallville fan though, Allison Mack, I don't think she'll be joining the reunion. Sadly, the animated series will be probably moving on without her, but she will be serving time. She's going to have to. I hope she, during that time, learns more of the error of her ways, and then can be rehabilitated in society as a better person, and try to help maybe stop other things like this from happening. But crazy story nonetheless. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and even hit the bell for all alerts, and the like button helps us a lot as well. In fact, leave some comments, click on these videos, and stay tuned for more here on Popcorn Planet.